Okay, I am Lisa Morey, founder of Colorado Earth. I am a professional engineer. I'm also an architectural designer, and I'll stay right here. And I started building with mud in New Zealand in the early 2000s. And I wanted to start off with a problem statement. So we are about to welcome 3 billion people to this planet, and we've never had the amount of atmospheric carbon that we do in the sky today. So these are definitely very parallel graphs and numbers that we need to be prepared for. Furthermore, we are about to say goodbye to potentially a third of the species on the planet, and potentially up to 70% by the end of the century. And so I'm in the building sector, in the built environment, and we have a big impact to play because it's one of the biggest things that we make and produce. However, the building industry has really been focused on operational cost and the heating and cooling of the buildings. However, it's only about 0.25%, and we really need to be looking more at the embodied energy of those buildings. It's projected that in the next 35 years, that we're going to be building equivalent of a New York City every 35 days. And unfortunately, we don't have the resources to do so. So the sand to make cement, concrete rather, is becoming depleted, and of course our forests are under threat. However, the building industry is just staying with the status quo and really focusing on cost and energy efficiency. And so even if we build a net zero building, unfortunately it's not enough. So warriors in this space are looking at climate adaptation and mitigation, which we've been hearing about. So we need to learn how to adapt to the changes that are happening, as well as figuring out how to reverse some of these effects. And I think we can do so while kind of having some well-being to ourselves and the environment in our pocketbook. There are clear ROIs on the resiliency in our environment. So the building industry is starting to slowly look at these effects and the solutions out there. Straw bale is creating panels, and concrete is actually starting to be made using bacteria. A few years ago, the Smithsonian magazine printed that sophisticated buildings will be made of mud. So this was really encouraging to me. So I have, like I said, started building with mud in New Zealand in the early 2000s. I was there for 5 years and have brought my experience with mud bricks to Colorado, and I'm now making eco blocks. So this is a product here under me, and it's using overburdened material from a quarry. It's sand, clay, and lime. It's hydraulically compressed, it's unfired, and it's structural. So it does not replaces the need for framing construction. I recognize that I can't just manufacture and hope the rest goes well, so I have been training engineers and architects and designers and masons here locally. We also, here in Colorado, create a double wall system with an insulative cavity between. And the finishes of the wall can either be, really depending on the climate or the client preferences, so things like a plaster or a sealer or a wash are the most common. All right, we are currently working with 13 clients on their design of their homes. One will be actually a show home. And it's exciting for me to note that 3 of the upcoming block orders are for projects that have been designed by others. So this really kind of shows me that the product is getting known and used. Some other significant projects in the pursuit is a church, a high-end restaurant, and some developments. But more impactful to me is the community of Sagamore and the Marshall Fire. And so I'm partnered with ForgeWorks Construction to actually build back better and have put together a cohort for this. A testimonial from a client that we built for in 2018 was a firefighter, and he wanted a home that was more protection for his family. Traction. So I've been doing Colorado Earth, working there for since 2017, helped over 45 clients, revenue over $500,000. And again, some real potential opportunities here that are showing themselves currently. Sales and forecast. This graph got a little bit mixed up but really what it's meant to show here is that revenue is increasing with the ForgeWorks project of Marshall Fire. And this is just for our facility here. So we have a new line of equipment that can make 350 blocks in 6 months, and so I want to kind of get into a full-time operation in a building to be allowed to do more full-time hiring. And I have a great, talented team, designers, builders, energy modelers, everything that's needed. I want to point out that the Oak Ridge National Lab is going to be purchasing some bricks or acquiring bricks from me to carry out a database for low-carbon materials. So what's next? We are moving forward with a life cycle assessment, an EPD, and again, getting kind of some facility upgrades. And we would like to kind of expand and to grow and create other facilities in Colorado. And I just want to close by saying that our footprint is certainly an impact, but I think we have a greater impact potentially with our hands and the choices that we make. Thank you.